So, in a completely idle moment, which I have but do not recommend, there I was, watching another war movie, in no mood at all to be watching a movie about war. And before I could switch the channel, I got the notion that, by some amazing coincidence, I was seeing a movie about the battle I'd just been reading about, the one that took place on the island of Okinawa in 1945. So, against all other impulses, I stayed with the movie, out of some weird sense that it was meant to be. I was supposed to watch it. The men were fighting in a driving rain, going up a hill to the top where the enemy was dug in with machine gun nests. And they'd make it to the top, sliding back in the mud, taking casualties all the way, and the enemy pulled back and then counterattacked, driving the American soldiers back down the hill past the bodies of their fallen comrades. The Americans would call for air support, and jets would fly past, dropping bombs and incendiaries. One helicopter flew in, disoriented, shooting the Americans by mistake, cutting their own troops to ribbons while someone was screaming into a radio, "Stop shooting! Stop shooting! You're killing your own men!" It was a terrible bloodbath, just as it had been in the piece I'd read. Everyone was dying. Some of the men toppled over into the mud in mid-stride. A few of them got a little death scene. The landscape in the movie was so grim, it was impossible to tell if the film had been shot in color or black and white. Everything was gray, light gray, dark gray. There was smoke everywhere, dust and smoke from smoldering explosions, burnt-out brush, slashed tree trunks, trenches, and a few rocks for partial cover. The rain and the gunfire were unceasing. Finally, the Americans took the hill, and they stayed there. What was left of it, what was left of them. It was still raining. The sounds of shots and explosions became sporadic. The faces of the men left alive were haggard and pale. Their eyes could not focus. They looked like they were in shock. The hill was littered with corpses that had once been people, but were now undifferentiated, stinking death. There was no sense of victory. Someone was trying to reach them over the radio, calling from some command quarters over and over, but no one was inclined to make a reply. The screen went dark, and then the print began to scroll over it, and incredibly, to me, the battle was not the one on Sugarloaf Hill in Okinawa in 1945. This battle had been for Hamburger Hill in Vietnam in 1969, and they were exactly alike, except in the one in Vietnam, there was not even the rational solace that something had been gained by all this dying. You could argue that in World War II in the Pacific, that the American boys had given their lives to defeat the Japanese and preserve their own nation. In Vietnam, that argument did not apply. The screen was filled with the moving words of an American commander, saluting the men who had fought in the battle and saying their sacrifice should never be forgotten. So I was sitting there, thinking about the two slaughters, one on Sugarloaf Hill and the other on Hamburger Hill, and I wondered what it must have been like on Pizza Hill and Cucumber Sandwich Hill. Has there ever been a hill with no survivors? White chocolate chip brownie hill, peanut butter hill. Will there come a day when you find yourself on a hill and no one has bothered to name it or even give it a number? What if you are calling it Bacon, Lettuce, and Tomato Hill and the enemy is calling it Sushi Hill? No one would ever choose to be like that, dying on some hill with a goofy name so far from home. And yet, so many have, and will.